Welcome back. It's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been like almost the entire summer. Like I finished a waterfall project and I poof disappeared. Oh my, yeah, you know what? Life happens. And you know what? It's time to get some work done. The fall is in the air, summer has gone. And now we're back to doing projects. The plan today is to get, the wall behind the fireplace. The plan is to get that thing all buttoned up. What I've done over the summer is I've collected a number of special rocks, because that's what I do, it seems. I collect rocks. And to do the back here. And it's the best time to do it before fire season, because you don't want to be working around your fireplace when it's on. Get that thing in its final resting place. Kind of like loosely put it in there from last winter in order to heat the cabin throughout the winter. But yeah, everything seems to be hunky-dory. How are you guys doing? All right, let's uninstall this thing, because it feels like just yesterday we installed it. Almost too easy. Lift with your back in a twisting motion. Oh. Shouldn't scratch it. It's nice and cured, right? Things don't fail me now. Well, we've got a blank slate. And everything's dried out, which is quite nice. So the plan is now to put some sort of fireproof paneling on here. But I also want to leave an airspace so air can go freely behind this, because put fireproof steel in there, what happens is the steel heats up and then the thing behind it heats up. And you kind of don't want that, because it's going to, catch the backside on fire. All right, so here's the detail I want to point out. As you can see, I've put no filler pieces here, because what I want is air to kind of be able to go up and underneath. And when I hang my den shield, which is a tile spacer, or not tile spacer, tile backer, what I'm going to do is I'm actually leave it up off the floor, and then I'm going to put some sort of a gasket underneath that allows air to get up and out, because I don't want heat trapped behind the wall and then basically make this stuff into tinder and then catch fire. So you can see my airspace. I've got this is out from there, but some people are going to say, well, this is flammable. Well, it's true, that stuff is flammable. I've actually picked a softwood, so it keeps it's not as dense as hardwood. My thinking is that it'll dissipate heat quicker. It won't retain as much heat because it is softwood. And that being said, it's also going to have air flowing on both sides of it, and tile backer here with thermal mass in front of it. And I'm also marking where my studs are, so I know where my screws go. Mark out where my chimney pipe is from about here, and then I can mark it. All right, here goes nothing. I've got some old tile backer. I'm not sure exactly where I got it, and I don't have enough to do anything else with it, so I think this is a pretty good use for it. Hanger! Alright, so I'm going to start with the hanger piece up top. I always like to hang at the top first. Stuff is the same, pretty much the same as drywall. It's got really thick paper on it. If you're doing drywall in a house, don't use a Sharpie. The painters will knock you out. Horseshoes, hand grenades, and drywall. There we go. It feels good to make some progress, doesn't it? We've got our tile backer on. Now, Normally, this stuff would be, perfect for tile because it is tile backer. But what I'm planning on doing is actually attaching rocks to the face of it. And I think over time, the rocks may, delaminate the surface of the paper and cause kind of like catastrophic failure. So my thoughts are to put a wire lath on top of it just to screw it down and give it some like more grabbing power, because the rocks are probably anywhere between 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 pounds. I don't know if tile backer is rated, like is the paper rated for that sort of thing? Can I just stick put some polymer modified thin set on the rock and stick it to the wall and everything's good? I'm not sure. But anyways, I consulted my friends over at Bigelow Flooring, and they were indicating to me that yeah, you could, and it might, and yeah, blah, blah. And they also said, you know what, just to be sure, probably go with some wire lath just attached. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've been actually saving some stuff. This actually, it goes way back to the, the beginning of time. This stuff at one point was like $10 a sheet, which is crazy talk. I'm not sure how much it's come down now, but every time I've seen a little piece, I've collected it. So I've got a fair amount of this wire lath stuff left over. Sometimes they use it for like underlay of tile floor, like a decoupling membrane, which allows the tile to kind of just float on your subfloor. And it used to be used for like stucco, like the old school stucco on exterior buildings. Anyways, I call it the cheese grater because it tends to eat your fingers. Alright, so now that we've got all our mesh attached to the wall, we've got it stapled off so it doesn't just kind of rattle in the wind, and the rocks will stay on there. The only thing we need now is some rocks. I don't know, where can we find some rocks? Well, we could probably go pick them out of the ground, but I think I have a better idea, because actually I want to make it easier in the future to collect rocks. So my plan is to build sort of like a set of grizzly bars. Got my Possum Lodge hat on. Put the lights off, and yeah, we're gonna build something. All right, so here's the plan. I've got a couple of logs. They are special to me, and you're thinking, why are they special, Kevin? Well, these are oak. I don't see very many oak around, so that's what I'm gonna use for the base. And then I've got this old pig cage. It's got a distance of about 2.5 inches between the bars. They're solid, and it's heavy. It's galvanized. I'm not sure that makes a difference, but the idea is to make that as the sieve. This is the base, and then kind of collect some cedar for the uprights, because I want this thing to be bottom heavy so I can drag it around to different locations. So let's get started. All right, so there we have her. We've got our grizzly bars all set up. We've got our pig pen bars here, which are 2.5 inches between. Like I said before, I kind of wanted a little bit narrower, like 2 inches. But the great thing about this thing is I can change these bars if I find something else that's got 2-inch spacing, or I can make 2-inch spacing. The structure itself is pretty much, well, I got some lag bolts down below, and then ended up using some GRKs, or a reasonable facsimile of GRKs, to hold it all together, because what I discovered is it's really hard to drill into oak. Even the GRKs were having trouble getting into the oak, and yeah, I ended up snapping a lag bolt off. So yeah, anyways, this thing's kind of built really robust, and the idea is, so you throw the material onto here, and it just basically, like a big colander. So anyways, I gotta tow this thing down to where I get my my rocks and see if it works. is some rock in there, but there's a lot of sand. So the ideal is all the sand will collect down below there, and then I can easily load it and have a nice sand and rock. I don't know if I like this part or if I loathe this part. It's a kind of an interesting part, which is splitting rocks in half. I do like rocks. All right, so the tool I'm using is it's inexpensive quick cut saw. It's electric. I'm using one of my battery packs to power it. And the thing is it takes a lot of juice, so I can't cut all at the same time. So I've kind of been periodically, cutting a rock here and there, and over time I've collected a massive amount of cut rocks. Yeah, and that's what we're going to use for the backsplash. So this is the guy here. This is the thing there. It's a 14-inch electric quick cut saw. It's a little rusty. It's got a diamond wheel on the bad boy, and it allows me to cut nearly effortlessly through rocks. It's got about like a 6.5-inch on either side. So sometimes I have to cut from both sides, and then I kind of give it a little bit of a bang, and the rock tends to just split apart. It does a really nice clean cut. Also, what I do is I add some water to the cut to keep the blade cool. It also lubricates it somewhat while you're cutting, in order to make sure that everything just kind of just slides right through. It also, an added bonus, it keeps the dust down, which if you're doing any length of time, you should probably wear a mask. A P100 or an N95, and that keeps the silica dust out of the inside of you. You should always keep the silica dust on the outside. All right, so I got a couple rocks cut. Here we got some, looks like limestone and some granite chunks. I've also got some of these guys, which turns out are very sharp when you cut them. They leave a very sharp edge, which, well, I cut my hand on one. So watch out those green guys. I'm not sure what type of rocks. Maybe there's some geologists out there to tell me what kind of green rock this is. I was told maybe it's a jadeite. Who knows? It's very hard. The saw tends to just kind of bobs on them. Skips around. That's the granite chunks. But the idea is to kind of give us like a mosaic of color and pattern. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually clean these things off and yeah, start sticking them on the wall. All right, so we got all our rocks laid out. Mr. Slate certainly would be proud. So what I did was I actually measured out how big the size of the behind the fireplace is. It's roughly about there, and then over there. So I just made sure I had enough rocks cut a little bit beyond, but that doesn't account for the stovepipe going to be right about there. So it looks like I have enough rocks cut. Now I just have to stick them to the wall. I was debating on whether or not to leave an actual space or to tight stack them, but I think logistically speaking, to get these things to kind of sort of hang on the wall, I probably want them all touching, because otherwise I think they're going to sag anyways and touch, so I might as well make them touch. But yeah, I'd set them out, and I had purposely left like space between them, and I didn't quite like that look. I think it'll just look like too much mortar, so I think I'm going to do it this way. And I haven't yet decided if I'm going to cut the edge or not, or if I'm just going to, just kind of like that, where it just kind of sits at the edge of the fireplace around. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, it's tile time. I hope this isn't going to suck as much as I think it's going to suck, but I'm sure it's going to be worth it in the end. I've got my thin set all mixed up. I also have some screws that I may or may not use to hold the rocks as I go up the wall. Back butter, thin set. Oh, let's do the first stone. Oh, this little guy, this little heavy guy. So I mix my thin set with the consistency of peanut butter. Not the crunchy variety, the smooth variety of peanut butter. So my plan, I'm gonna put, I don't know if I need to lay it like a tile. Back butter. So it gives me contact with the sub straight. And then I wanna put the notch. If I just do that, I'll put the notch on my stone, and then any luck, this will be self-supporting. Well, it didn't fall off. All right, so this is the next day, and our stone is firmly attached to our wire mesh and our thin set. As you can see, we just got a little bit of a pointing to do, basically filling in the cracks to just give it a seamless look. Probably going to chip out some of the mortar that's pushed through some of the thin set. One of my pet peeves is every time I've seen a fireplace done like this, they usually don't know what to do with this, so I've got pretty much a solution for that. Pretty much all the way down. So anyways, it looks good. Everything's really stuck. I'm not worried about that falling off, so we're good to go. All right, so we're down back at the pit again where we got all our rocks, and I'm looking for some sand, and I figure the best place to look for some sand is underneath this tree, although don't recommend it. Anyways, here's some kind of that sand that we need. It's very powdery. It gives me the heebie-jeebies when I touch it. It's got that really fine kind of like beach sand stuff. So that's what I'm going to use for parging, or the pointing of the stuff. So I'm going to grab a couple of buckets of that stuff, and I'm going to mix it 3 parts sand to 1 part Portland, and that's going to give me my very nice pointing material. All right, so there's a little bit of a problem. This is overhanging ever so slightly, so I have to just kind of cut that off a little bit. Like there, you can kind of see it's hanging over a little bit, and there it's kind of hanging over a little bit, and there it's kind of hanging over a little bit, and up there. So I'm just going to cut those off. Shouldn't be that hard. I can almost eat it. It's got the consistency of like, I don't know, almost like peanut butter. It doesn't slump. It kind of sits like on your little trowel here. You know, nicey nice. So the mix on this bad boy is I used 3 parts sand, 1 part Portland, and that's going to give me a nice sort of a, Indy, you want some? It's going to give me a nice flexible mortar to sit in behind the stove, because we're going to have like a freeze-thaw sort of issue. But yeah, so it should be relatively good. So I'm thinking where I got all the inspiration for this sort of style is Cabela's Bass Pro Canada. This sort of thing is in their showroom in their store, and they've got that giant fireplace, and it's got that whole sort of northern Ontario feel to it, with the rock cut and the the limestone and the granite sort of like tied in together. That if you've ever been to Bass Pro, anyways, there's a giant fireplace there. It's usually like, it looks real. I don't know if it actually is real. I think some of them are real, depending on where you go. And you've got the stone stacked all the way to the top. So this is kind of what reminds me of. Yeah, so you should check them out over at the Bass Pro if you want to get real close to this. You can see how kind of substantial it is. Anyways, I'm just blabbing because I'm hot and I'm sticky, and I just want to get this done. It's been a haul. So anyways, I'm going to use a pointing trowel And this is a long stick with a handle on it, and it's generally designed to use with a hawk. But what I would do is I will take my mortar like this, and I'll push it in to the crack like this. Push it in, ever so slightly. I'm gonna put some gloves on because this tends to get messy. And yeah, it should only take 6 hours to do. So all right, preparation for the incoming. Get some plastic gloves on, and it's good to have, you know, plastic gloves because there is, like, in the Portland, there's I don't know, there's caustic stuff. Caustic, yeah, it burns your skin. And the idea behind the plastic gloves is you can get right in there, get up inside that bad boy, and you can mush it all around. It allows you to really get intimate with the mortar. Get it right up inside the, yeah, let's do this. All right, let's do this. Let's get it started. All right, so now we're at this stage of the game where you can kind of see how it's a little rough, but the mortar's in there, and it's kind of not as pretty. So what we do is we use this is an old oil-based brush, a natural bristle brush. And if you can avoid hitting the camera while you're doing it, you're just basically smoothing it out, giving it a nice little texture in order to kind of blend it in, give you a nice texture. And then when you need a little bit more, you can just move some stuff around. But you gotta wait until there's a happy time where the mortar will kind of tool it. It doesn't come out. Because if it's too wet, you'll just smear it. It'll make a huge mess everywhere. Anyway, so just go over everything and clean everything up. Because you don't want your mortar drying on your stone. I've already done over there. Everything looks pretty darn good. All right, it's done. Look it. Isn't it beautiful? Now I just gotta get the stove back in place. That'll be fun. You should design a light stove. Oh. Blow a gasket. All you had to do was, cut some rocks, stick them on, and Bob's your uncle. Look at beautiful, beautiful looking back covered thing. I don't even know what to call it yet. I don't know what to call it. You guys know what to call that back wall? It's the back wall covering. It's the fireproof back wall covering so your building doesn't burn down. So I'm going to resist the urge to light it because I still want the mortar to cure. It takes a little bit of time to cure. A lot of the old school guys will actually wet their concrete as it's drying to just kind of make it so it doesn't crack. So that's what I'm going to let it do for another couple of days in order to fully cure before I light the fire, because otherwise it's going to just suck the moisture out of that bad boy, and I don't really want to do that. I want it to harden to its full potential. It's probably like, I don't know, like 60 days or something like that. I'm not gonna last that long. It's gonna get cold sooner than that, so I'm gonna have to light it eventually. But we've had unseasonably warm weather lately, so I've been taking advantage of that by buttoning up a lot of the stuff in and around here. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and join me on the next one.